Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another stream. Hopefully, you guys are doing great. Without further ado, let's get started. Got yesterday and the day before to cover. Again, missed that. Sorry. I mean, to be honest, nothing really too much happened on the Wednesday and Thursday. Pretty much did what we wanted. The uh, what what we wanted Wednesday to go over anyhow. So I was like, ended up working out. I mean, Wednesday we're like, yeah, we're looking for price to come back into here, either here or here, at least retest, and we've been going down slowly. This sort of sentiment slightly changed as we sort of cleared this liquidity and had a massive liquidity sweep, but didn't really change too much. I mean, after this massive liquidity sweep, we still had counteract, consolidate, then go back down. Then same thing again, they're just targeting these lows now after sort of taking out this large little high. Looks like they got what they wanted to hear, and by doing so they managed to sell off a bunch. And if you sort of look at spot order book here, let's see, zoom out here, there we go, there's the initial walls that we looked at, like, oh yeah, we finally hit those, we're happy. Then we came in, consolidated. If we're looking to go higher, for the sake of going higher, would have hit back lower, somewhere like this, then went higher. But instead, we just cleared that liquidity out during Asia, and in Asia, we just went blip. Just blipped everyone out, then consolidated. You can see how people were panic buying for some reason. Mostly I think due to sort of liquidations, mixture of, yeah, I guess it looks like a mixture of liquidations messed with actual people buying. It looks like, there you go, there was the last sort of stop, then clear sort of spring high, monthly close above 30. Is that what you're looking for? Okay. It's just, you don't have too long for that, for a monthly close. Now we sort of come back up, and you can see now we started selling off. People started realizing, you know what, time to sell. It's like, then all the selling sort of caused prices sort of fall down. Then we got people buying back, which is again another good sign that we can sort of make this price panic a bit more. Missed this wall here again. This started all the way back here and started getting gradually bigger and bigger again. It's made up a collection of different traders, so we're going to probably ignore this for the meantime and treat it as sort of a non sequitur. Looking at futures, it's pretty much the same story. You can see that it just cleared out liquidity, came back, just made everyone go short. You got a few longs here and there, but mostly, as you can see, just overwhelmingly most people trading this short. In terms of news, we should have news coming in a minute. Personal income, there we go. We got personal. Let's refresh this. Get the old news. Hey, should, there we go. Refresh on the dot. Do I have to refresh again? No. There we go. Should cause some reaction. Hey. No. I I am me. Who are you? Uh, let's see. I haven't got too much of a reaction out of it. I guess though. Yes. At least I'm not dropping frames. I don't know, man. My internet's still like it's been on the fritz recently. Okay, so personal spending's down. Expected. Again, why does it keep disconnecting and reconnecting? I don't understand it. There we go. Finally got that reaction we were looking for. It went high first, so not too particularly bullish on this occasion. Again, we had that building down, so there's a chance where it just explodes high. But it's already sort of pushing up into this high on the first sort of data set. Usually, data sets reverse the trend that they're currently sort of leading up to, and this is really, really irritating. So Binance is now, Binance futures is now. There we go. I don't know. Is it just a me issue that this keeps happening? Just keeps disconnecting and reconnecting. I don't know. Problems. Either way, ignoring those blatant issues, let's sort of go into where price is going. There you go. So pushed up high. Pushed up high here. I mean, had that nice little build up, cleared out liquidity. We're not, from the looks of Bookmap or from the what we can see, doesn't seem to be getting too much long, but it's getting a decent amount. Not significant enough, so maybe they stretch it a bit higher. But generally, considering we're looking to try and see this go a bit lower. I mean, looking at the ideal cases, it's probably going lower to go higher. I mean, there's your breakout line. There's where people would have bought because they saw something. So we got retail buyers coming in for certain. So we can easily say, yeah, that's a nice little trap for people. And there we go. Same thing can be said for any of these sort of areas here. Nice little trap for people. So just looking for this to come undone for the most part. Nice little false settle breakout. Pull it back down. Punish people out. See where it ends up holding. If it ends up holding somewhere nice, like a little stop on here, it could come back in time. But again, generally, I don't think we're gonna hold out too much hope today. All things considered, again, just not a lot of hope. I think that'll be today's sentiment. We'll be surprised if we can do anything. I mean, coming in here, we start getting buyers, start getting volumes as soon as sort of we clear that liquidity. Again, as soon as we clear that, now looking for it to try and come back down and try and push it back into sort of lower and lower territories, but not until sort of it ends up closing. Why does it have to be? It keeps disconnecting and reconnecting. Good morning, bro. Again, still controlled. I mean, it's clearing out as much as it can. It's trying to hold up price here for the sake of holding up price. We're just looking for it to subside again. If you're looking to enter in short, you can probably wait it out. Again, until 10, you guys know how that 10 o'clock is usually a lot better to take trades, or even just a bit later after the fact. I mean, just wait the 15 minutes until sort of you get the full candle completion. After you get the candle completion, price will end up sort of going in that correct direction, or not even, or just start giving you signs where it wants to actually go, instead of misleading people and saying, "Oh, okay, yeah, breakout. There you go. Please buy." Forget about the numbers. There's a lot of bullish news surrounding sort of markets now. It's like the buzz now. It's like, oh yeah, look, yeah, punish the bulls. Oh yeah, I mean, punish the bears rather. Oh yeah. So once we get all that bullish news, we then look for the bears to get punished. There we go. So pushing out. I mean, it's nothing sort of too big, nothing sort of too major, but at the end of the day, it's a nice little liquidity grab here. If we see it push back down, I'd like to see a point where it ends up reversing. Because again, short-term trend, of course, we're looking for it to go down. At least try and grab a bit more short, but at the end of the day, you can see it's structurally sort of more favored to trying to build this sort of longer term grind up higher. Just because we're collecting a lot of shorts, we're starting to get a bit sort of tipsy here, so it's starting to come to a point where it's slowly going to become a nice little high. We're going to start collecting a bit more shorts, push it down a bit further. Ultimately, they're gonna explode it up high, squeeze these guys for everything they got. So there's a time and place to be bullish, and there you go, subsiding, closing a bit. You can still have sort of a lot of time till it fully closes. So we're just here sitting in this thing of it. Stretch this out. There you go. Till the weekend. Nice little weekly range. Again, next little lower point we'll look for is probably the current week 50% rather than the previous week's sort of midpoint here. But again, just slowly making its way downtown. It's just not really sort of too fast with things. Want to contrast that? Is April a green month for Bitcoin? I'll check. Actually, we'll check for SPY. I don't think Bitcoin has too much data. Actually, no, wait, Binance has a decent amount of data, I think. 6 years. It's 50-50, it says. 6 years is 50-50. Nothing, because that excluding the following. Excluding the following. Again, 6 years is not a lot of data, so better look at the SPY. We want more data. More data. Any second now. There we go. Yes. It's green all. Let's include the following. There we go. It's green all around. We know last week was terrible. Yeah. Next month is really good. Then the month after, not so good. The month after. Let's see. April, what starts here, ends here. Next month and starts here. Then you see mixed bag, rallies a bit. Then oh no, next quarter, just before the next quarter, that looks terrible. Again, we know this. But generally, yeah, not so bad for April. Coming into here, I think it closes green, a nice little green close. There's your 1, there's your 2, little push. We'll see if it starts continuing up faster. We already know it is opening at so 405. Why is my network so slow today? I don't understand. There we go. So we're already opening up high. I mean, look at sort of so again, we had a large gap here, didn't close off this here, chose to leave this open again after the first day of leaving this open. We then again climbed up the next day, closed off this here, but it's very negligible, so we don't really care for it. Now we're sort of already opening up above here, so we're already looking to be decent way above this area here, and already sort of trading in and around this point here. So two things to look for if this starts continuing up. We'll see it sort of push itself higher and higher. Generally, just because we don't have the pre-market data for it. I mean, we've got this sort of point here on the 4 hour that we can maybe look to as sort of a pin. We'll say put a pin in it. Sorry, that was a bad joke. I don't understand. Is it my internet? Is it everything? I've had this issue before. There we go. You can see again, it's just a sort of an insane little climb here. Every sort of point just clearing out short liquidity. Clearing out short liquidity just seems to be allowing sort of longs to sort of get into the market here. And oh, sorry about that. Let's do this. You can see here, first half gets bottom volume here, then top volume gets short, and they sort of let them get liquidated. They're letting sort of longs get into this sort of market here, so you've got to sort of wonder when will they let these sort of traders get sort of punished. Some stage they should. Ideally, probably now. I mean, looking at this here, you can see it's similar to what Bitcoin did, where it just spiked high again, spiking high to clear out liquidity, volume well and truly being well below here. So as long as we sort of come back down below, we can see it try and make its way back down, and if it can, it will drag Bitcoin down with it. It's already sort of a green month anyhow, so I don't think it's sort of too fast on sort of data points for that. This is frustrating. This is absolutely insufferable. There we go. You can see where we came in here. Yeah, people dip under from mega pump. You and your mega pumps, man. Yeah, we can see we sort of came in opened here, sort of dipped down when we had the bad times, then came in. So it does still look like there's a green months. So it doesn't really matter if we end up retracing back, end on this sort of doji-esque here. Sort of look at this on here, just because I think it's faster. There we go, it is faster. There we go. Nice green week. I mean, it's green month rather, as well as being a green week. Here we're sort of already pushing here again. You can see the week open coming in, sort of opening up here. So it doesn't really matter if we sort of drill back ups, but ideally, sort of looking to close the week a bit on the higher side, ideally, coming in here. I mean, if we could close it where we're at right now, it would be sort of really nice for it in sort of the long term sort of point of view. If we could close it a nice little 3, and they drop it back down, continue. Could see that happen, but generally, if it does end up doing that, it'll be nice. Again, where retail came in, you can see so they will come in here. So they came in. I mean, they didn't really come in. You know, everyone was screaming Bloody Mary when those lows were achieved. And again, they'll probably look to come in around here anyhow. So maybe tap this a bit. See if they bite. See if they get hooked on this sort of point here. If they don't, sort of still drag it back down. If they do, again, that's happy days. You get dragged back down and get as much as long as you can possibly can. Just sort of get punished on these sort of lows here. So that'll probably sort of tailor where Bitcoin is looking to go. I mean, looking at Bitcoin's weekly here, not I mean, yeah, first with this, you have different sort of bars here. You got a nice little outside here, just taking out both highs and lows. Uh, Nice little outside doji, so it's just breaking this. Not really a directional bar here, but it cleared out the highs on the second side. So we're looking to at least that's where it sort of at least sort of came back down, but it stands again a risk of sort of pushing it back down more than it has pushing it back up. So we have to see again if sort of the week ends up closing here, not against a month close that ends up as well. We can easily push it back down into sort of this area to try and retest this with sort of where ES and SPY are looking to sort of retest. Does sort of make sense to try and come here for again in a long term point of view. But that just depends on if people are expecting it or not. Because again, if people start buying in and expecting this area here, price will continue to fall. Because you'll see the bids here, then those bids will get pushed down into sort of being viewed for more liquidity, get up into there, then we can finally probably sort of reverse it. But instead of sort of completionary sake, there you go. Sort of pins right here just completes this entire sort of bar, that entire sort of point here. So it's sort of not looking too bad. Daily doesn't look as good, but we'll get to it. Still within sort of margin. I mean, looking at the 4 hour, you can see it came in high, pushing down lower, still within inside the previous swing here. So again, still within that sort of natural ebb and flow, going higher to go. I mean, well, not going higher, but just, yeah, I think going higher to then go lower. Maybe look again for this sort of 50% to try and support it a bit. If it's actually looking to grab a bit more sort of higher ground before it actually pushes down for the longer term point of view. There we go. I mean, we had that. This is a 5 minute charts. I'll be about 450. Oh god damn, 5 minute charts. Yeah. Then trade it as such. Why? Like, yeah. Coming around here, but yeah, just treat the higher time frame as the lower time frame, and sorted. It trades exactly the same, just on very slower point of view, where it's just a lot more drawn out. That's the only difference. But again, we're looking at this and just saying, okay, yeah, I could see the same thing coming out for SPY, so that's something that you want to potentially watch out for. We had a nice little 2 day high, 1 day sort of. I mean, we can start on the Friday, let Bitcoin drop on the Saturday, Sunday. Who knows? Let it gap down over the weekend on the Monday, but then it would just come up high to give you a nice little double top if it gaps down on the Monday. So ideally, looking for it to just find its way down here without too much trouble. And if it ends up doing that, it ends up being better for us. Yeah, mixed bag. I think it's mostly sort of greens that we're looking at. I mean, if you look at sort of where altcoins are starting at I mean, they're just consolidating up high, which is a very weird shape as well. It's nice little. Guess you can call it double top, if you can call this as such, but it's essentially is double top for the most part. Again, being below here for dot is nice for it to drop down further, so we know at least one of them is bearish coming in here. Looking at atom, we'll see if it's similar. Alright, this is absolutely asinine, the slow speed. I don't understand why the internet's so slow. Okay, at least Bookmap started to calm down. I mean, for some reason managed to get. I was still sort of heavy short here. Again, didn't really clear out the shorts from this area here. I mean, I don't think they liquidated anyhow. For the most part, they would be a lot higher. I think on this sort of swing, a lot higher. If you would want to grab them. Making our way down, but very slowly. So it's just not really too bearish at the stage in time. If we're sort of being very. Oh, that's cute. Okay, disappointed then. Again, we can't really say too much for it. Again, there's your long. I mean, there's your spot buys coming in, sort of pushing it back down. Not really too much in the way of selling, which is good. Again, the more we start to stall, the worse it looks for us to continue to go down. And instead, we might end up pushing it higher than we end pushing it lower. That's something that you want to sort of be considerate about, is how long we end up spending on this sort of slow down swing here. If we end up taking out too long, it would be detrimental for like a bullish case if we're looking at it unbiasedly. But generally, again, we're looking for it to push down at least to here. If it takes this time, again, let's say it takes another 15-30 minutes to do it, so it starts collecting too much short here, they'll probably push up here, take liquidity before pulling down. If it gives you a double top here, it'll only to grab these shorts out the market from probably either these highs or these highs. But again, it would look to grab a high for the most part. Once it grabs a high, it can then sort of continue back down if it so desires. But generally, not paying too much mind to what's happening here. It's just sort of reclaiming back some. Only thing we really care about is this being additive, so it being heavy on the long side, and this not being too short. Again, the more sells we see here, the worse for us. The more buys we see here, the more we are inclined to believe it goes down. The faster we move, the more it is as well for just for the sake of pushing it down. Got a nice little fourth wall here, so maybe we can sort of induce some algos to buy just by seeing this. Again, just instantly came in with this fat bid here. Mr. Moneybags coming in, sort of supporting this. So usually these way these goes is if this starts pushing price up and moving along with price, is sort of valid to stay. But in most cases, these guys just get put in to let people go long. Then they get removed after a certain point in time once sort of conditions are met, because price is not ready to go down. So it's a nice little stopgap. So once they're removed, which is more likely a occurrence than it is not likely to be removed, then we can sort of push it. Again, ending on a nice little doji here. I mean, if we start flashing green, we might sort of trick people into buying. Further, again, you're cheating on a little fine line here. You can see our bid came in around here, just trying to force price up into this sort of area here to try and say, okay, print out a doji. So they clearly want clearly want this at least for now. And now they sort of look like they removed it for the most part. And there you go, there's that wall removed. So they held it up for a time and instantly removed it. It's the same person that did it here. Again, just similar sort of effects that you're looking at, just happening over and over again. So it's like I said, it's a very likely occurrence that high bid wall here, as you can see, just forces price higher to grab liquidity, then pushes it back down again. Same person did it here, and again here. It's a nice little fingerprint, just how this person moves, and you just okay, cool. This guy's just blowing smoke out people's asses, and he only does this to push price higher or support price, to then trap people, to then push it back down lower in the trajectory it's meant to be going. Closing this candle a bit worse for wear. We'll see where the next candle comes. It is sort of looking like it wants to be pushed down a bit further. Once it sort of comes down here again, we have sort of two scenarios we're looking for. Either it push down into here, double top, pushes back down, or sort of stalls its way up here, just stalls its way, then just slams itself up much earlier on and takes out the lows. But generally more inclined to the former, just because it clears out sort of these short stops here, because we know these to be sort of very sort of heavy short, and same for this. So we know this series of shorts that have been going on for a very long time. So going down starts making these profitable, and once and starts sort of hemorrhaging money for you as a sort of liquidity provider. So it makes sense to try and clear those guys out. But if they're sort of non-threatening, then there's not much liquidity, then I guess I'll keep them, because we know someone got in a lot of selling here, so they're not really too fast with keeping it as much high. As you can see, they sort of sold their bags, as the saying goes. We do have higher selling points. I mean, they always can sell and they always can buy, but majority of it got offset here. So as you can see, a nice little selling has occurred here to people who are unlucky enough to buy the pump, I guess. I mean, we start zooming back in again. Selling occurring here. That's where you expect shorts to be, and buying at this point here where we're currently at. But now it's sort of tapering into the point where we could easily push this a bit higher, just take out the liquidity that we know that it's here. Then once we grab that liquidity, it's an easy sort of sweep here, because we want to get rid of shorts that we know that entered in here. And once they're sort of out of our hair, it's sort of safer to push it further down, because these guys will be net sort of long instead of short at this point, because we know we already got breakout traders in this vicinity coming in, and now it's just trying to catch other people out. There we go. I mean, yeah, I guess you can call that a line. Never been too good at lines. Depending on how you draw it, again, breakout traders, regardless, have been sort of coerced into sort of buying, depending on when they sort of drew it or how they drew it. So we've got our breakout buyers. Now we're sort of trying to catch the short liquidity here. It's the only sort of liquidity that we can really well and truly get. A few more breakout buyers on the sort of parallel here, parallel line here. But other than that, it's just mostly short liquidity if we go up higher, because there's no more. I mean, you'd have to be foolhardy to keep buying. But then again, most retail traders are. Yes, coming to a point. Again, still sort of hovering around this area with sort of nice little diamonds. I mean, we cleared out the liquidity yesterday. This is just, I mean, this is just extra additional sort of gratuity, I guess you can say. So we can easily, again, it just looks like it wants to be reversed on for the most part. In terms of trying to push it a bit higher, do we have an additional double? Maybe in the way or form of just about this area here, maybe at like 100, just slightly here, just slightly above this sort of volume place here, just sort of complete if we need to push up higher before pushing out down, just to clear out all the bats that would have entered into here, all the sort of additional shorts. But generally, this is something that gets easily turned down. Is there a point where we'd want to go long? That is the real question. Uh, Monday opens here. Again, there's your low. As long as above here, we're in bullish. I mean, bullish point one was here, but we already sort of worked these lows already. So it's already a missed opportunity. Next sort of point would come in a much lower here. So as long as you sort of behave on these highs here, either clear liquidity, then push back down. We're probably looking for it around here. I don't think it comes back just to reach the same point. That would be sort of very boring. But again, a better case would be sort of look at that 50% if you're sort of trying to be long, I guess. If you want to create a really shallow sort of retest, it would be here, where it sort of holds in and then springboards, but I don't think it goes on for too long because you've got just liquidity here that would be released. Then you'd have to sort of control that back down, and once you control that, you can sort of, then you could see where it initially would have gone. So again, there would be opportunities to grab it at a higher price later if it has a nice little short throw, or there's a point here. But for sort of short point of view, it's very easy to sort of say, okay, it just clears out liquidity because we know it's short here. We're pushing up high. We usually reverse these anyhow, for the most part. Altcoins probably not worth looking at. I mean, they're probably all going to be sell points, one way or another. I mean, we'll look at one or two of them just to humor you guys. Again, look, similar sort of things as the last altcoins we looked at. It's just they're all at this point where there are previous points here. You can see this where this came in previously. Where it just fished in and just then concluded this volume at the same place here. Again, we know this is an area of trap liquidity just above. We're pushing in, we're rejecting this sort of daily. We're most likely going to pull back down. Again, very easy to sort of say that. Same person came in here, did the exact same thing. Ugh. That's become insufferable. It's selling here, it's sort of holding out, which is again not ideal for a straight decline. It's more sort of privy to going up higher, at least trying to get these liquidated before pushing back down. So just be cautious of a double top if you're trying to trade this short. Still have an hour till 10 o'clock, so we'll have a lot of time before sort of dust settles. So ideally looking for it to try and be very tame within here, so it doesn't expand too high, because if the range starts expanding too high, then you run the risk of just creating a very large behemoth of a range to try and trade in, which then becomes an issue. There we go. There's your high that I was talking about again. It just stalls out. There you go. Starts pushing itself a bit high just to clear these sort of bellends out the market. Once they're sort of cleared out, then you can sort of push it back down. But again, we're really close, so you might as well hit these guys. And if you might as well hit these guys, you might as well hit these guys, because then you'd definitely have cleared out everyone who was entered into here. Not everyone, but most people. Back to FCM again, like I said, just collecting volume here, so it does sort of lend itself well to sort of going short. And the same could be said with every sort of altcoin. It's just lending itself well to being short. I mean, we know sort of yesterday's close came in very sort of high, so we know a lot of people decided to buy this. Nice little island gap continuation, so people try to continue the third day and try to go higher. But I don't think it continues the third day. Worst case, we just come back crashing into sort of this and fill this sort of gap here. Best case is just a little sort of dip here and then push back up. So we've got to sort of prepare. I don't think it has a continuation day today. I want to say at all, but it's unlikely it does. At most, it just comes up to clear liquidity, which it's already doing so, as it's looking like it wants to open up 5 or 4. I mean, at best, it just sort of collapses after it open and just sort of sells off. I don't think personal numbers were too heavily swayed. If we got quarterly for grains, and so those would be nice. So midday is your next sort of point that you want to look at to move the needle. I've got a couple of speeches at 3 and 5. Bit blasé on them, but generally much better for I have more sort of hope for maybe corn affecting the market. So if you see a further direction, as in like we start moving in like just a straight line upwards, we could go straight line downwards. I mean, it starts sort of consolidating and starts moving a bit out of character. I mean, it's just holding itself up. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if it starts unnaturally sort of holding itself up, waiting for something, you're waiting for 12 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock. So you're giving yourself that extra 2 hours to wait, sort of soy and everything. Expanding, cleared out that liquidity finally, cleared out that push. Like I said, this again lends itself to a double top. There's the push that we're expecting. There's a liquidity clear again. We'll close anyhow, so like I said, you might as well go and hit that. Coming in before open, which is nice. Not as nice as you think, but it's decent, just because it will just meet SPY at a certain point. So it starts matching up with where it's already at. But now you're looking for a point where it stops, then just collapses. And even if you get a direction, that direction can be reversed at 12 o'clock. So that's something that you guys want to be mindful of. I'm probably gonna end it off here because my throat is starting to get really hoarse. It's a struggle to talk. I like that yesterday as well. Oh no, man. Maybe I'm sick again. But yeah, I'm starting to get a bit choked up. But you guys know what I'm thinking today, so hopefully you guys should be able to trade today with relative ease. It shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, coming in from last time we spoke, Wednesday pretty much took Wednesday's idea pretty much took a whole day or two to come into effect. It finally did have some level of rise, but very sort of lackluster. But we're catching up breakout trades here, and then from then on, the easy sort of collapse again. We've got the liquidity that we wanted. Again, just took these out very easily. You can see how we tricked people in that doji to go short, liquidated them, and now we can sort of move along. And from here on out, we're looking for future trades to try at least trade within here. We bought it very much, and now we need to clear it very fast away. That's ideally what we're looking for. If we see the same sort of things where we're just stalling, we're not really going down, they just keep pushing it higher and higher. Okay guys, thank you so much for coming today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's stream. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. I will catch you guys Monday hopefully. But other than that, trade safe, have a lovely day, peace.